Fortnite changes the meta every week. First we got a new shotgun, then they remove it, the drum gun removed, C4 removed, the OG factories. Yeah, they're not exactly a gun, but why, Epic? Why? My point is, we constantly have to keep learning how to play Fortnite with weapons that get added and removed all the time. So today, we're counting down our list of 10 vaulted Fortnite weapons ranked from worst to best. Let's get this rolling with number 10, which is the Revolver. Before we got the hand cannon in February, the Revolver was the only real weapon that had a chance of one-hitting your opponents at medium to long range. You've always got the snipers, but if you like to run and gun, then the Revolver gave you that fast-paced feel while also being able to deal high damage. In the most recently updated version, the Revolver starts from a base damage of 54 for a common, ranging up to 60 for a rare. But that's just a body shot. This may have become a weapon no one really cared much for in the end, but before Fortnite introduced the damage fall-off mechanic in the beginning of April, this little Revolver could pop people over 200 meters away for at least 100 damage if you hit those headshots. It had a 0.9 fire rate, which, similar to the hand cannon, forces you to take your shots wisely while also preventing you from peeking for too long. However, the damage fall-off update essentially took all of the usefulness out of the Revolver, and its only real damage would be at close to medium range. And the fire rate that was so useful is now holding you back. And it wasn't long after this that the hand cannon took over the usual jobs a Revolver would be good for, and on September 6th, it was finally vaulted, almost making it a full year since its release with the Battle Royale mode on the 26th of September of last year. Epic stated that this is part of an initiative to keep the item pool feeling fresh and dynamic, and also went on to say that just because it's been vaulted doesn't mean it's gone. Number 9 is the Crossbow. Now, with the new holidays, Fortnite usually give us some awesome skins to match, or maybe even a ton of Battle Pass rewards, but what we've seen only a couple of times is holiday-themed weapons. On the 7th of February, Epic Games introduced the Crossbow alongside the Love Ranger and Cuddle Team Leader skins for upcoming Valentine's Day. It was the first of its kind, a silent sniper, kind of anyhow. For a long-range weapon, it had the lowest damage out of all the sniper types, doing 75 to 79 damage depending on if it's the rare or epic variant. During the Valentine's event, the Crossbow had a matching paint job with a pink and gold color theme, almost as if it were the real Cupid's crossbow. The real power, though, obviously didn't come from its damage, as the Crossbow had a unique trait: unlimited ammo. You could spam this gun all day and not worry about how much ammo you needed to conserve. The only thing you won't realize at first, though, is that this crossbow does no damage against structures. After all, it's just propelled by a crossbow. This also causes the arrow to have a real high arc when going for long-range enemies. Eventually, though, the season ended, and when Fortnite decided to hit Dusty Depot with a giant comet in Season 4, they also got rid of the crossbow, leaving it only available in Playground and now Creative as well. Number 8 is the Tactical Submachine Gun. So, there's a lot of guns in Fortnite that we could make an entire book on when it comes to the amount of updates that they got, and the Tactical Submachine Gun is probably one of those. It's one of the few guns that have been around since the very beginning of Battle Royale, and at first, it wasn't one of the most common guns to see. Shotguns were dominating the close combat scene, and it wasn't until the shotgun delay was introduced that people really took notice of any of the SMG-type weapons. Compared to the submachine gun, the Tactical was definitely the best of its kind, especially if you managed to find an epic variant. The uncommon green version would deal 18 damage, the rare blue version would do 19. With the purple epic variant, you could deal 20 damage with each bullet, meaning when sometimes at 100 health, there'll be one bullet less to kill than if you had either of the weaker two versions, and sometimes that one bullet makes all the difference. It took a long time to get the SMG class to a point that could match a shotgun, adding updates that would increase its magazine size to 35 and overall increase its accuracy. Then on the 17th of July, Fortnite suddenly vaulted the Tactical Submachine Gun. In fact, throughout all of July, it seems they've vaulted all the SMGs and introduced the new submachine gun and compact SMG, replacing them with Battle Royale. Number 7 is the light machine gun. So, for you players that love to go into battle looking like you're from a Terminator film, then you probably loved the light machine gun. Sure, we had the minigun, but that was just too cumbersome. Introduced on the 18th of April, the light machine gun soon became a favorite amongst many in the community. There was still a lot of negativity revolving around spray-type weapons, which thankfully has died down now, but at the time, it still caused a few to be put off by this new gun. For those that took to the light machine gun, though, it was a brilliant backup to your shotgun. With one clip able to hold 100 ammo, you can switch back and forth between your LMG and shotgun continuously before reloading. And yeah, it does have a hefty reload time at around 4.75 to 5 seconds, but by that time, you've probably put half the clip into your opponent already. Then combined with the fact that you have 8 bullets being fired per second, it's going to be applying so much pressure, your opponent will have barely any time to counter. Then we got Fortnitemares introduced for Season 6 on the 27th of September, which also was when Epic decided to vault the light machine gun and bring out some new variety to the game. And in at number 6, we've got got the SemiAuto Sniper. So as far as weapons go, the SemiAuto Sniper has had a fairly easy ride. It's been out since the beginning of Battle Royale, and yet it's never really had any real updates made to it. Not anything important to combat anyway, like damage. In fact, the only update this sniper variant got was to readjust its rarity grade, and that was recent. For most of their Battle Royale lifespan, the SemiAuto Sniper came in an epic or legendary variant, which at first seems to make perfect sense at the time. After all of the snipers have a gold version, but the fact is, when you use the SemiAuto Sniper, it didn't feel like you were using an epic weapon. Its base damage was around 75, which for someone with full shield and health, you'd have to hit them 3 times, and it may be automatic, but landing those shots consistently is fairly difficult. Some found that the auto fire actually caused them to be less accurate, as they were no longer taking their time with each shot like you do with the bolt or heavy, and people just eventually kept leaving this gun, and it became a running joke for a lot of people. Fortnite saw that the legendary and epic status the SemiAuto Sniper was given just didn't match up and adjusted them to uncommon green and rare blue variants. It didn't stop this weapon from getting left behind though, and on the 1st of November, Fortnite vaulted the SemiAuto Sniper. Number 5 is the Doublebarrel shotgun. It was an awesome idea, an ultra close range shotgun that would deal an insane amount of damage. When it was first leaked, most of the community were really hyped to try it out. The 7th of August 5.2 update is released, and in comes the Doublebarrel shotgun in an epic and legendary variant. This new shotgun only has 1 bullet per chamber before its almost 3-second reload time, but could fire those 2 bullets within quick concession. Combine that with a base damage of 114 or 120, and as long as you get into point-blank proximity with your opponent, the almost being if you could aim. For a while, it was the new hot weapon within the community, but it soon faded away as people began to realize just how hard it actually was to get that close to your opponent without risking your own life. Even if you were a few meters away, a full-on body shot may only do around 40 damage. The grapple and double-barrel shotgun pair made its round through the community as the new meta, as it finally gave you that quick gap closing skill you needed for such a shotgun. The close-range assault became known as barrel stomping, and as quickly as it became popular, it was just as quickly deemed overpowerful for its damage. After a high amount of complaints, seems Fortnite agreed too, as they removed it with the Season 7 update on the 6th of December. And in at number 4, we've got the remote explosives, or C4. These explosives had one of the most love and hate relationships with the Fortnite community. Released on the 14th of March, most players were excited to test out an explosive they could place and then detonate on cue. Whether you wanted to bait out a supply drop or attach a bunch of remote explosives to your trolley, this was an item that nearly everyone was looking forward to trying. As much as it was a great gadget to have, the explosives just didn't seem to have the punch that you'd expect from them. What you have to remember though is at the beginning of the year, we didn't have the explosive mechanic that allows damage to penetrate through structures, which meant when you set off a C4 within a 1x1, it would only take out the cube and none of the structures right outside, even though the explosive animation gave the impression you get more damage for your buck. May 16th, they finally introduced increased explosive range and the very damage penetration ability we just mentioned. All remote explosives can now blast any structures within range, no matter what's in the way. Unfortunately, this gave it an overpowering effect, and after Fortnite attempted multiple patches like lowering the amount you could hold, it seemed like they just thought it would be better to go with something else as they vaulted the remote explosives after all of that effort they put into them on the 27th of September Season 6 release. Number 3 is the OG version of the guided missile. If you're one of the newer people to play Fortnite, then you may know of the guided missile being a very low damaging weapon that can slowly fly a guided rocket around the sky for a short time. It's very rarely used for actual fighting opponents and more so to scout people out. However, when the guided missile was first released on the 14th of March, it was used very differently. Its base damage alone was 105 for a rare variant and 110 for a legendary. That's a one-shot kill to any unlucky opponents that haven't found a shield yet. While the missile was in flight, it also had a longer time limit and a lot more speed. In the beginning stages, the guided missile was a very dangerous weapon, and at the start of matches, if someone got lucky enough to find one just after landing, they'd just sit in a building shooting the missile out of the window and picking everyone off in town. Then near the end of matches, it was insanely difficult to counter. Players would get smart and send one guided missile up high, then it straight down lined up for opponents one by one. Then they'd quickly fire another one to line it up with the first, creating a double rocket effect, and it's been vaulted a lot of times, but the 18th of April was the only time they vaulted it for being overpowered. Number 2, the Tommy gun. As far as fun guns to use in Fortnite go, the drum gun is definitely ranked amongst the top. It was the gun nearly everyone in the community at the time loved, but everyone also knew wouldn't last for very long. I mean, it barely lasts 2 months in Battle Royale, being introduced on the 3rd of July and removed on the 7th of September. But why was it such a short-lived weapon? Easy answer, overpowered. We've had a lot of attempts of SMGs trying to match shotguns, but this was the first one to almost dominate them. The drum gun could hold 50 in a mag and barely took a few seconds to reload. Then they've got the fact that it does 26, 27 base damage depending on if it was the uncommon or rare variant, which means a player with 100 health only needs to get tagged 4 times, 200 health 8 times, and this was fairly easy work when you got 50 in the clip. So the fact that a lot of people want it back, its overpowered effect came mostly from people using it as a backup to their shotgun, at which, yeah, it's insanely overpowered. But what if they added the time delay they had for shotguns to the drum gun? It would allow players to use it normally as an individual weapon without being overpowered when combined with the shotgun. Just the thought, because I love that thing, man. I'm sure a lot of you guys do too. And in at number 1, the Zapatron. It's the one and only Zapatron, the mythical, most legendary energy-based sniper rifle that 0.000000001% probably got to use. When Fortnite Battle Royale was first released on the 26th of September last year, the Zapatron was in the game for a very brief amount of time, literally a few days. It was a legendary weapon that you had a 5% chance of getting from a supply drop, so factor that in. Given that was only 3 days to find this weapon, it's not surprising that there's only one clip we know of showing off how it works. This OG clip shows that when the trigger is held down that you can charge up the energy cells and fire one powerful beam, causing 150 base damage. What most players don't know is that this also fires a 3-round burst when you just pull the trigger, causing 50 damage per bullet. The most common reason people seem to think it got vaulted is because it was overpowered, but Fortnite never confirmed this. In fact, they released a tweet stating that they don't feel it fits with the current theme of Fortnite and may revisit it in the future, which honestly, I would love to see. When Fortnite first started, energy-based weapons would stand out, but with everything happening in the storyline, it wouldn't stand out that much anymore, and I think that they could definitely make it fit in the game with all the other stuff that we have that's equally as overpowered. I mean, there's a bunch of things that can one-shot the Desert Eagle, there's snipers, there's the hunting rifle, which similar concept. If it was very rare, then I don't see why it would be a problem. But that has been our list of the top 10 vaulted Fortnite weapons ranked from worst to best. Click that like button if you've enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel immediately. Push notifications on. We do giveaways on this channel, so you're not going to want to miss out on those. Make sure you have those bells on. But we hope you guys have a wonderful day. Happy New Year if you're watching this on New Year's, and keep it here on Top 5 Gaming.